All right. All right, let's go to call this meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock here on Tuesday, September 13th. Board roll call. We got Bruce, our manager here. Carissa?
Yep.
Is here. Corey?
Yep.
Is here. Robin?
Yep.
Robin's here?
Yep, she's signing in right now.
Okay, nice. Derek, he's here, as far as I know. So 4 to 5. We've got a quorum, so excellent. 4 to 5. Good job. So item 3, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it's laid out?
That we approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, motion from Carissa, second by Corey. I'll approve it. Robin, are you in yet?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm here. Can you hear me? I've
There's
Yes.
Robin. There she is.
been sitting here.
Good to see ya.
Like,
Good to
wow,
see
what
ya.
happened? Yeah, I was here. I've been here. It's just, I don't know why it didn't let me in.
Internet. Good stuff. All right, that's 4-0 to approve the agenda. Item 4, approval of previous minutes. Do I have a motion, and a second for that, or any corrections or additions, deletions?
I don't believe so. I'll approve, motion to approve the previous minutes.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Carissa, second by Robin. Corey, you good?
Yep.
All right, I'm good. It's 4-0 to approve the agenda. Approval of the previous minutes.
We
Or did I just do that?
Yep, just did.
I just did that. Okay.
Yep.
We're talking about hip and knee transplants or replacements. Can I get a brain replacement? That might be next on my list. Sometimes I feel like it sometimes. All right, number 5, special business budget committee. Carissa and Corey, any updates from our budget committee?
So, didn't meet as often as last month. Still working on the budget. We are in agreement, the 3 of us, and we'll propose this to the board hopefully by next month. Mailbox costs have to go up. So the mailbox package boxes, there's 2 of them and they sit on a pedestal. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? The 2 big for packages. Those cost $2,400. And I believe last year we bought a whole row of them. Also,
Wow.
Bruce is going to talk about this. We need 3 doors. They're, I believe, $125 each. Is that right, Bruce?
They were, I'm gonna switch it up. Instead of replacing those 2, I'm just gonna get a 4-way mailbox because those ones that are
And how
so,
much is
don't
that?
we don't, oh gosh, I don't have that with me.
Okay.
Actually, I found another source that was actually less than what I told you.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to get the 4 package one for about the same price as that one I told you about that only had 2.
Okay, but I mean, I was shocked at that price.
So was I.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, they're plastics, for gosh, sitting on a pedestal. So we will, Corey and I and Bruce have decided to propose to the board upping the mailbox cost. He's going to talk about the other things that he's talked to the postmaster about. We talked about the trucks we need, how the grant writer will help us. But we're still back to the road fees. And I think even if we raise the rate of the road fees, we're still going to be borrowing from the other 2 departments because we're losing money. Everything costs more, and to keep up the same road services. And I know we had a week and a half that they went to, what's another word for SHIT?
Yeah.
But because we had extenuating circumstances, the guys have been keeping up with it, except for those, the 10 days there. We really are in need. We're also going to propose a road access fee. to discuss about Unit 3. So right now, here's our bill. I don't
Yes,
think
yeah.
mine
It's
changed.
not-
Yes, dear.
So you have water sewer if you have those, trash mailbox if you have those, and most people have road maintenance fees, $13.50. It will say on that to Unit 3 units that have some kind of CAD, driveway, structure, or dwelling unit, a road access fee. They use our roads to access their property, and the three of us, like I said, agree that a road access fee needs to be implemented. So that's the budget. And then when we propose those, we can talk, or you can talk about them now or think about them.
It didn't sound like they would be opposed to paying a road maintenance fee. I met with them on Saturday, went up and walked in Unit 3, and Mark and I did. And it didn't sound like that was an issue.
Well, we can't call it a road maintenance fee because in front of their property, we're not maintaining those roads.
Correct.
We're maintaining the loop road, and I'm sorry, I don't know the road names, going up to the Unit 3 access point.
Yes.
That's why it will be called a road access fee.
And when we're seeing them, that was, yeah, they agree.
Okay,
Or at least the couple that I was with agreed that they use the roads in Forest Lakes. They're not subjected to
okay.
being opposed to that, is what I
Okay.
gathered. So,
What's your
yeah.
feeling, Robin, though?
Wow. Yeah, I agree. Those folks that use the roads ought to probably contribute to the fees. Also, though, the roads, some of the issues with the roads is, like when we get the rains and stuff, you know how the rain will wash the road away because the ditches aren't clean or the culverts aren't done. And those are our residents' responsibility. We are responsible for that. But somebody had brought up maybe the idea of Forest Lakes, maybe finding out if there's a hydrovac or something that would maybe do some of those culverts, and they could just take that stuff over to the burn pile and fill up some of that area. Because it's got gravel, maybe they could use the material still, so that we're not having the road damaged as much if people are taking care of their culverts and ditches and stuff like that. So that was something that was brought up as well. But yeah, because the roads, they get damaged a lot.
Yeah.
But let me chime in there a little bit on that one. I've told the road crews, I mean, yes, you're right. It says that the residents are responsible for that. And I think a lot of people do, but the question, I guess, is, especially this year, we've had a lot of rains and a lot of times, and they, do we expect them to do it 5 or 6 times a year? I don't know.
No.
And I'm leaving that alone. But what I've told the staff is, in those areas where it overflows and starts eroding our road, go do it, because it's cheaper for us to clear that out than to continually repair the road on an ongoing basis. And yes, that may sound a little unfair, but there's some rationale behind that in terms of it will save us a lot of time and money fixing our roads. So they're under that direction at the moment to do. So you might see them doing some of those, but you'll look around and you'll probably see a big trench across the road, and that's because it's overflowed and it's ruining our road. So
Yes.
That's kind of what's going on, and you will see that going on. We have that vac truck, and we can blast it, and we can shoot it forward, and then we can take it backwards as well. So depending on how badly they're impacted, some of those culverts haven't been done in a very long time, to be honest, and they're just like rock hard, and those take hours to do sometimes, and others might not be too bad. We might be able to do it in a half an hour. So we just don't know until we get in there. So but there are going to be some that we're going to do just because it's a defensive mechanism for us, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I have seen some folks doing some ditch maintenance and stuff and trying to clean out the culverts as best they can, but they can't reach all the way through.
Understood.
So in some of those areas, maybe Yeah, like if they did it once a year at least, that'd be huge, considering how
Correct.
often they probably do
agree.
it.
I would
Is there
hope,
such a thing
but
like a
yes,
roto-rooter?
The hydrovac.
yeah, it's a jetting, it's a thing that it pressurizes water and it shoots
Okay.
it out, and we can push it forward, or we can put another little head on it that has a little bit going forward, and then it has it shooting it backwards. So it loosens it up and then it blows it back out the back. But if you put, like, we'll call it, like you're saying, a rotor-rooter, some of those culverts are plastic and we would just tear them up. So we can't really do that because we don't want to ruin them. And then, because then now we're buying and putting new culverts in for everybody that we wreck. So there's a little bit of, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Tess, I see your hand up.
Lynn.
Public comments are just in a little bit.
And there was also a question about how we weren't able to do the water meter readers. If the rate that the folks will be charged when they are able to capture it will be at the August rate, or is it going to be at the new rate in September? That was another question that was brought up for anybody that's over there that will be brought in. And I know we'll go over the water thing here too, but that's part of the budget stuff too, I guess. So I don't know. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that. Or Jamie, is it
Now,
September's? Was it August? Water or
it'll
September's water?
reflect on the October bill. So it'll be
Right.
So
September,
September's water.
correct, because it went into effect September 1.
Okay. Is that going to be easily managed?
So when yeah. I was just
We
saying.
we really need to do one thing at a time. Because if the people that are over on their water usage, we don't want to charge them an increased rate for water
Exactly.
overage from the previous month.
Right.
So we can't do both in 1 month. We're gonna have to just allow everybody to get caught up on their usage and then do the rate increase.
That makes a lot of sense. That sounds more fair too.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Thank you.
And Derek, your feelings on the road access fee?
I'm fine with it. I think as a generic statement about fees in general, I mean, I just read that the town of Bayfield's going to have to look at raising their water and sewer rates, their 15-20%. So as a matter of fairness, as a matter of equity, I mean, you name it, I think that's perfectly fair.
Anything else, Corey, that I missed?
No, I think we hit it all pretty much, or you hit it all.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Letter B on special
Recreation.
business, item 5, Recreation Committee. Robin and I have not met. Again, I think I'll just speak quickly here. Robin, jump in. Please jump in. I think as a matter of, when it comes to recreation, I feel a lot of the ideas we had a year or two ago were kind of add-ons. I wouldn't say luxuries, but add-ons. We're looking at, spending more money and adding to the budget. So I feel like in the current situation,
Not happening.
not happening. I think we have to kind of reframe our mind in terms of, recreational ideas that are probably either maintenance as far as, keeping things up to speed as far as where they are looking good, as well as trying to do some things that don't require us to spend any money. So I think you're looking at the budget stuff that we had come through recently, we got to make some decisions. So recreation, I think we're kind of just putting that in the back burner for now.
Yeah, it's on. There's still like the playgrounds and stuff like that is still available and all of that, but to do anything new, no.
Yeah.
But we are going to hopefully get a grant writer. So if you have a grand idea, we can throw it in her court and say, if you ever come across something that might include a new slide, a pier, whatever, ice skating rink. I don't know what kind of grant
There
we
is
get.
a
option.
grant for that.
There is a
We
grant
just want
for
to be
that.
careful that we
I
don't
am
add
aware
more
of it.
maintenance.
Yeah,
Right.
well, any grant we get won't be for at least a year probably, but I'm aware of one of the agencies that do Parks and Recreation grants. I know of it, and so the grant writer will
Good.
be made of it, aware of what,
Good.
and we're gonna chase them. We're gonna chase everything.
The lake, the fish.
Are you thinking,
Good.
are you thinking about the state fund that's funded by lottery money, Bruce? The COGO, I think it's called, or co
Yes.
something. Yeah,
Correct.
there you go.
Coco,
Coco or Coco, something like that. Yeah.
Coco.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
that's a good thing. A lot of money in that account statewide, I'm sure.
And we are going to be talking to them.
Well, and I'll just say, in general, I think a grant writer is a marvelous idea because our budget is what it is. It's a sizable budget, but if we're talking even a couple $100,000 here and there, plus we're also looking at, have we even gotten word back on our water treatment verdict, what that's about? I mean, that's 4 or 5 million or 6 million right there, as far as we have to do a brand new
Or more,
water
yeah.
thing.
Not to
So, but
mention our lake.
yeah, but town of Bayfield, like I say, back in the day, they got in trouble by the state because of their poo-poo plant, and they wrote a grant for like $5 million and got $5 million to help take the edge off that. So that grant writer position will be huge, I think, in a lot of ways.
Keep our
So-
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Letter C, Personnel Committee. Mark, he's not here, but Robin, any Personnel Committee updates?
And no, just what Bruce has put together for the contracts for the accounting, and I'll let him cover that because he's got all that in writing for the grant writer and the accountant.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's probably in his report. So Bruce, we'll get there and we'll cover
Right.
that then, if that's all right.
Okay.
Number 6, public comments. Jimmy, do we have anybody who wants to speak? Again, reminder that each speaker, you got 5 minutes, and please identify yourself, your full name, your address here in Forest Lakes, and guest speakers.
Tess, it's your turn. Go ahead. She had her hand
Hi.
raised.
Yeah, I need to come to these meetings more often. I always try to, and then something always comes up. But I made it today. So this is such great information. I love the idea of a road access fee. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not already contributing to that. I just think that's a little bit insane. So I am like all about that. Culverts. I have lived here now for 5 or 6 years. We had a rental property for maybe 4 of those years, and then we just bought a home 2 years ago. And so we definitely did not know that we're supposed to be maintaining our culvert. So I'm just curious, what else can I be doing to make sure that I know things like that? And then, like, I'm sure there's other people in the neighborhood who just aren't aware, like myself. How can we spread the word? Because I will mention that to my husband tonight, and we will get on taking care of that. And then another thought that I'm having is, like, we have a lot of older residents that live in this community that might not be able to do maintenance like that for their own culvert. And so just thinking about, I don't know, how could we come together and younger individuals maybe help older people who can't do that on their own, if we are gonna have it be solely on the property owner. Let's see. Oh, and then water usage. So we're saying, you guys are mentioning things about like water usage and being over. How do I check to make sure that we are in proper usage?
That information should be on your monthly bill.
Okay, thanks.
So
You're
it
welcome.
says, I think it says usage, and it's a
Mhm.
number. It will have, not this month's, but if you look on previous months, so it will have meter readings. It will have a previous one and a present one. And then the next column, my camera won't take.
That's fine.
this for some- It says usage, and that's thousands of gallons, hundreds of gallons, or does it have the exact usage? Like we'll say 120. I think that's 120,000
Okay,
gallons.
No,
I don't
probably
I think
No.
I have an old one.
200.
3,000, anything over 3,000 gallons, you're gonna pay an overage.
Extra.
okay, great.
Mhm.
And to,
3,000.
awareness tests, these meetings are recorded.
Yeah,
And if you go to the website, you can look at previous minutes.
okay.
And Jamie does an excellent, what's better than excellent job of
Wicked.
taking minutes and recording them. Those are, I think, years worth of old minutes. Once we approve the minutes, they go on, so you'll know what's been happening the previous one.
Wonderful.
Posted.
They're recorded.
I'll be
and-
better.
Yeah.
But thank you.
And if you have any ideas, we are trying to still work on, getting communication out.
Mhm.
The board by the mailbox sometimes has, information. On the front page, Jamie and Trevor both do the road maintenance updates. And I think there's a little box of, what are those things on the top of a computer called?
Oh, like a
Tab.
little.
Whatever. It's, like a drop-down
Tab.
list that will say updates,
Ah.
things on the calendar, if we have a special meeting or something like that. But if you want to get involved, and there are elections coming up
Mhm.
next year, next May. So stay tuned for that.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
You're welcome, Tess, and welcome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tess.
no, great comments, Tess. And I think the culvert issue, I get it. It's not unlike, property owners who live, say, in town, who assume that the sidewalks are the city's problem. Sidewalks are, of course, the responsibility of the homeowner. And I think it's why you see in Forest Lakes, if there's an asphalted driveway, it stops right before the culvert, because that's the assumption is that that's the property owner's, responsibility is that culvert. So, but I agree. I think communication is great. And that's just one of those things that we just got caught up in. Not everyone's aware that the culvert is their responsibility. So it's a great point. Thank you. Are there other public comments?
You can
Just
use
one?
the chat bar on the bottom to type in any comment.
Maybe that's something we can put on the monthly bill. As far as a note for residents to, that they're liable to clean their own culverts as well.
That's a great point, Trevor. I'm not sure how many characters we get per statement. If it's it's a small bill, but
Yeah.
that's a good.
We've got a lot of room. We can certainly put it on there.
Oh, excellent. All right.
The new bills are going to be pretty good. Going to be a lot more user friendly for us as well as the residents as well. The new bills, if you haven't seen them yet.
That's a great idea. I think monthly reminders about a lot of things could go on those statements. So good point. Other public comments? Want to hold there long enough in case someone has to jump in. We good? In 3, 2, 1. All right. Moving on. Item 7. Reports from staff, officers, consultants, and committees. Managers report. Letter A. Bruce, you're up.
Thank you very much. Okay, August. For us was challenging. We touched on some of the road issues. Things got out of hand. Our lick truck was down for, I believe it was 12 working days. And of course, during that time, we had pretty much rain almost every day. So we not only couldn't keep on it, but things just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And we're aware of it. We're doing our best to catch up. We're actually just filling some of the potholes that are really bad, even though I know it's a temporary fix. And I generally don't like doing that, but it got to the point where we had to start doing something. So we are. So the next thing is we hired a couple of new employees. Austin Yates, and I didn't capitalize the Y in his last name. Austin worked for us previously, and he's a rehire. And that's good having an experienced guy. He's got all his credentials, which is very nice as well. We also hired Ryan Anderson, a new young man, and they're both working in maintenance and operations. Trevor's got those guys going, training Ryan. Austin kind of knows what to do already, so he's of immediate help, and Ryan's still doing stuff, but is learning along the way. And Trevor, if you want to chime in on any of that, you can. No? Okay. Also, while we had great rain in August, that brings a lot of growth and undergrowth that could be a little worrisome, especially if it dries out this month and in October. So if you get some undergrowth, try and maybe cut that down and take care that doesn't catch fire, because if we dry out, which is probable, it's going to be another problem for us. So let's just please be aware of that. The next item is the solar array. That was an item that was approved by the board, I think, a couple of years ago, and it's finally come to fruition. We've cleared the spot. They've surveyed, they've drilled the holes for the racks that'll be holding them. The rack material's been delivered. They haven't started putting them together yet. The actual arrays we've had for some time, the actual solar panels we have. So we're hopeful that that'll be together by the end of the year. There's actually some contractual arrangements that need to be fulfilled on their side and our side by the end of the year. So we're all, both sides are hoping that we can have that put together. The next item is our emergency generator project. We've had that engineered, and unfortunately, I think when those two projects were envisioned, which are both great projects, they forgot that those two projects needed to work together. And that wasn't envisioned, apparently. So we now know that we're going to have to buy some equipment, primarily transfer switches and things like that, so that when the power does go off, our generators kick on, and it happens to be during the day, and we're also generating solar. There needs to be a mechanism to circumvent that so we don't blow the whole grid up, which is what those transfer switches will do. But those were never envisioned by either project, but we know now that that is going to have to take place. We've gotten some preliminary estimates on that. Nothing that I think we can do better, but that we're going to add on to the cost of the generator project. The solar project was completely no cost to us, so we're going to leave that alone, and we'll just add that onto the generator project, which I'm hoping to get a grant for. So that's how that one's going to play out. Another thing, changing subjects again, we've been noticing we've been getting a fair number of delinquent fees that haven't been paid, and when they get up to a certain number, and I believe it's $2,500, then we file a lien. But there's another mechanisms called when you certify these liens, and we record it at the county, and we'll be bringing those to the board next month. It's a once a year thing. But I guess I would encourage anybody who may be listening or know that they owe us some money to come and pay that off. Otherwise, it's going on your property tax bill. Well, not on your bill, but it'll be recorded against your property, and it's not going to go away. Next time, kind of
Wait, Bruce, excuse me real
Yes.
quick, sorry. Instead of doing a property lien, have you ever thought about doing I believe it's called a mill levy on that property? So when they pay their taxes, we get our money back versus waiting for them to sell that property?
I'm not familiar with what you just said, so I can't really respond. So the answer to your, I guess, no, I've never thought about it because I wasn't aware of it. So I would love to know what that mechanism is.
Okay.
So I can talk to you about that, at a later date, and see if there's another mechanism that might be a little more useful for us.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for that heads up. Last Friday, Chief Evans got a hold of me and said, hey, we got this $10,000 grant to do some fire mitigation and stuff that he'd applied for. Right after we had that fire, that Little Bear fire, that weekend, me and him and Paul Valdez were working on this grant. I didn't say anything because it was relatively small. We didn't know if we were going to get it. Well, we just found out after about a month that we got it. So we're going to do some improvements on that emergency access road. We got about $10,000 to spend on it. When we costed it out that weekend, it was probably closer to 30, but that's doing a really nice job. So we won't be able to do everything on that we wanted to with that money, but Chief came in Monday morning and we had a quick meeting on this, and they're going to throw in some in-kind stuff, and they think they got some other people that might be able to help out. So we think we're going to be able to stretch that $10,000 pretty far. And that road will be significantly better than it is, even though it's better than it was last year. It's going to be a lot better. they were really happy that it had gotten improved when they did go out there. But we also saw where there were some failures that we can do better at. And so it was, so to speak, the good news, that fire wasn't bad. We learned a lot from it, from not only that road, but some of the communications and dealing with the Forest Service and some other things. So anyway, good news. We're hoping to have, we think we'll probably have that done before the end of the year. We're gonna do it quickly. Chief's already working on some stuff as we speak now. So that was really good news to hear about that.
Real quick, Bruce.
Yes,
Excuse me.
ma'am.
I walked it, and with the rains we've had, it's in good shape. They're really, so whatever you guys did initially, the rain hasn't washed it away. So
Well,
good job.
that's good, because we'll be
Yeah.
coming back over. We spec'd out on that. We could probably, just with the amount of gravel to do the entire thing, would be the full $10,000. So there's other things we're going to try and widen it a little bit. We're going to pull some stumps out. We've cut some trees down. We're going to make it as wide as we can in different places, so we can have, like, we'll call it like a bus turnout. They can get out of the way. So if whether a fire truck needs to park there, but others can continue on, or if it's being an emergency access and somebody's car breaks down, you can push it over to the side and everybody can keep going. So we'll have some of those little pockets like that where there's some nice wide spots. And there's going to be some spots where we're not going to be able to. We got some gigantic rocks we're not going to be able to move. But on some of those tighter turns, we're going to be pulling out about, I believe it's 6 or 8 stumps on some of the, we'll call them sharper turns, and then that'll widen that turning radius. So for larger vehicles, we'll be able to get around that. Kind of in conjunction that we've already doing that independently. We ordered new evacuation signs. They're the ones that are on the road right now are kind of dinky, number one, and they're pretty faded. So we got some that are about 3 times as big, and they're nice and bright. And we'll put those on the road. We're going to take those existing ones and we're going to take it out on, mount those on the emergency access road to make sure nobody can make the wrong turn, so to speak. There's a couple of options. We don't want them to take them. We want them to go where we want to go. So we'll use the old signs down on the emergency access road, and new signs will be going up on the loop road there.
We got those up already too, Bruce.
Oh, did you get those up? Great.
Yep, Austin got those up this week, so.
Fantastic. Okay. Anything else on that? Otherwise, I got my last item.
Other than
yes.
those stumps and the trees will be brought down and residents can use the wood.
Correct. Kind of like we did with the other ones for the solar array, where we cut a lot of those down. We just had them right over there by the slash pile, and a lot of people came down. So we have, I think, Trevor, correct me, but I think we have, what is it? Again, 6 or 8, something like that. I don't remember the exact number of trees, but it wasn't a large number. But yeah, we got to get that out of there because we don't want that burning if there's a fire. Okay, the last item is we talked about those mailboxes. We had one of our staff members was out there and talking to the postmaster who happened to be doing the mail that day, and found out a few things about not only the missing doors and stuff like that. So we're going to be replacing one of the broken ones with a 4 package one, which she was very happy about, because a number of times we don't have enough of those package lockers available, and so someone gets a notice in their mail that go down to pick it up in Bayfield because there's not enough room. So we're going to increase the number of package lockers a lot, which she thinks will make a big difference. Just having that many replacing will save a lot of time. So we'll do that. The other thing, which was interesting, according to the postmaster, is if you don't have a home on a lot, you can't have a post box. I guess she's come across some of these in the past, and she just takes them off. So we're going to cross check ours to see if we're billing somebody, and if there may be a few, and if so, we'll let the postmaster know, and those will go away. Just news to us, but in any event, we also sent over what we're proposing on those boxes to make sure that the postmaster approves of them. They said their postmaster approved, but I'm like, I want our postmaster to see what we're doing before we order them. And so
Hey,
I'm waiting.
Bruce,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt.
okay.
I know that we, in the past, have had people that are not residents, but that are near, or they use our access roads and stuff. But they have mailboxes down there, but they're not residents.
believe
And I
that's
was
true.
told that,
And
I was
they pay-
told
Okay,
that
go
they
ahead.
pay double, right?
Correct. Anybody who's
Yeah.
out of district that uses any of our services, they pay double, and that's in everything. So, yeah, but if there's a structure, and there are a couple, just a handful, but there are a few, but yes, they do pay double, and they pay double for everything. If they get it from us. I think that concludes my report, and if there's any questions, I'm obviously happy to answer them if I can.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, thanks, Bruce. Letter B of item 7, the incomparable Jamie, office manager admin report.
I do not have a report. There's not been enough hours in the day. Hopefully next month.
I get it. We got you. All right. Thanks, Jamie.
Uh-huh.
Trevor Most. That means you're up, Trevor. Maintenance report.
All right. So last month we had a lot of water and sewer taps. So we had a water and sewer tap that we did on East Forest Lakes Drive. I believe that was 234. Had another water and sewer tap that we did on 673 Mesa, and also a water and sewer tap on 605 Mesa. We ended up having to move one of our sewer service lines there on Snowbird Court due to, I guess, some survey issues that we had, but we got that taken care of. Ended up installing a new meter pit on Little Bear Drive. I believe that was 311. And we had to move the topsoil pile for our solar project again, but we made sure this time that we just moved it completely out of the way, opposite side, get it completely out of the way so we don't have any interference with that anymore. And we had another sewer tap that we did on 846 Pine Tree Drive. And then we ended up fixing a water service line leak on Hilltop. And like Bruce mentioned before, we had our lig truck that we fixed up. We had some studs on the manifold that broke off. And that I want to give a big shout out to Daryl and James for working on that, because Cat was going to quote us around $9,000 to get that fixed, and they were able to take care of it themselves. So good job, guys. And then just continued road and equipment maintenance and our on-call ops with our water and wastewater. Some meter swaps, which were finally, I got word today that our new meters are being shipped out. So that's good news. We'll be able to do some more meter swaps.
How many we get?
62.
Right on. Good.
And continued with our meter reads and read reads and our excavation permits and our utility locates. And then as far as our status of our vehicle fleet, everything's back up and running. We had the leg truck down, but we got that. And then as far as our safety incidences, we're still showing 0.
Fantastic.
Trevor, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Did you personally go out to the 846 Pine Tree Drive?
Yeah, he was there.
846 Pine Tree.
Did you see their
Yes.
culvert? Is that right?
It is not. And they have been, we've talked to them several times, and he's in the process of fixing that. That was my last conversation with him. He knows it's wrong.
What's-
it's a beautiful house and they're moving on it quickly, but I was like, it's like, for those
Yeah.
people who haven't been past it, it's like it's humped over. I said, our plows are gonna run right into it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, and I told them the
Okay.
same thing, and so yes, they are aware of that.
Okay,
The culvert, Trevor?
Yeah, the culvert.
Okay, yeah, I saw it was sitting up pretty high. They buried it a little bit. I thought, not to be a nitpicker, but it could go down probably a little more. But
Oh, so they have done some work on it since?
I mean, when they first installed it, it was sitting up way too high, and I think
Yep.
they probably just did that because they had a lot of trucks coming in. But yeah,
Right.
they buried it somewhat. But I'm still looking at it, thinking Chris is right. If that blade comes out there and snow plowed it, it's just gonna just take that whole 3 or 4 inches
Okay.
off right in the front area. So it could probably use to be sit down another probably 3 or 4 inches.
Okay, well, I'll go up there and take a look at that, and
I drive by
let
it every
you
day.
know.
But yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Quite there.
Hey, and not to change the conversation here, but that dog waste basket get fixed on East Valley View?
Yes,
That had been done, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was done last month. We got a metal one instead of a plastic one this time, so it won't happen again.
Like I said.
Nice. All right. Trevor, you good?
yep, I believe so.
thank you, Trevor.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, bud.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Letter D, financial. Is that back to you, Bruce?
Yeah, and I just want to make note of correction. I made a mistake on the agenda here. That next one says property tax collected. That should have been nothing there because I have no numbers because as we've discussed with the board, at least, that we're having some tremendous troubles with the transitioning to the new financial system. And we just don't have the reports that we can run. Their staff is working tirelessly on it, honestly, and not to always throw the blame on somebody else, but clearly they just didn't do a good job. I mean, we've done everything they've asked. We've gone to all their schools. They're doing all the training and they're working. They're on the phone almost all day long trying to work through these problems. And they keep throwing up new stuff that they could have told us about a year and a half, a year ago, 2 years ago. And it all comes down to the first week we're trying to do it. And now all of a sudden, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, which is kind of what happened with the meter read. Oh, now our reader doesn't work because of the new system. What, you think you could have told us we needed to do something? No, and a whole host of things along those ways, but we will get through it. It's incredibly embarrassing for me to be able to have to tell you that can't tell you where we're at. And I do apologize, but I honestly don't think it's our fault. It's we will get you the correct numbers because I didn't want to put out some guesstimates because when you do that, they never go away. So I'd rather just say I can't give you a good number, and I will get you good numbers. And thinking that we'll have that by next month.
No, I appreciate that, Bruce. I think it's, I've been on the board long enough to know that Jamie, Shauna, now that you're here, you all know your stuff. So it's not about assigning blame, but it sounds like transitions aren't easy, but hang in there. I know you all are on it. So
yeah, we're trying to take care of it. I can't tell you about the water though. We got that. So in August, we pumped 5,768,000 out of our 4 wells. That's about 500,000 gallons, which again, in the grand scheme of things, for us, that's not a huge amount, especially since the previous month was relatively low, which was good because we had a lot of rain in July, I guess. So that's actually pretty good. So not out of whack or anything like that. So I think that's okay.
hey, Bruce,
Yes, sir.
I just can ask you, I mean, I'm not sure if you can have this number, but I'm seeing lots of building in Forest Lakes. So I'm not sure how many more units have come online as far as, new homes, but is that a big enough difference to add to that number, you think? Are we talking, 5 or 6 houses aren't going to add?
No, if you figure like what our basic one is, full-time 3,000 gallons and not that many people. I mean, some do go over 3,000. No, it's not. It's a function more of the weather. The overwhelming majority of water that gets used is not in the house, it's outside. So when it's really hot, people are watering, they're doing whatever they're doing, take, spraying, got the sprinklers going, if they've got a pool or spraying the kit, whatever. Most of the water, I mean, the overwhelming majority goes outside, not what's in the house. So,
Sure.
yeah, it'll have an impact, but it wouldn't even dent that 500,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if we came in, if it was another, 20,000 gallons, maybe out of that 500,000.
Okay. Thanks.
Derek, before you jump,
Yes.
I think we skipped something on the personnel committee. And Robin, do you remember talking to Mark about somebody's 6-month review?
Well, that's not coming up till the 15th of this month, so nothing to say.
Nothing to say. Well, congratulations.
Leave it at that.
Nice cliffhanger, Carissa. Thanks.
Okay. Never mind. You know what? Hey, it's important.
No, I get it.
You know.
No, I get it. I get it.
So
No, I'm just teasing you.
I just want him to know we haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
It'll be on next month's agenda.
Okay.
No, that's it for finance.
I think so.
All right. Item 8, unfinished business, the Verizon cell tower update. I've been hearing all sorts of stuff about the Animas Valley in Durango and the Verizon towers, this and that. So,
Yeah,
if
they're all, I'm kind of done with them. I signed up with, well, I contacted via their website, AT&T and T-Mobile. So if Verizon happens to get back to me, great, but it's just horrible. I mean, I can't even believe it. They don't get back. It's stunning, actually. I mean, I've called and emailed, and it's just they kind of do what they want, I guess. I don't know, so I've given up. But just in case you guys didn't hear this, this is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. T-Mobile announced that they're partnering with Starlink, which is Elon Musk's company that does satellite internet, and they're partnering with T-Mobile, and they're going to start off with text, and then they're going to go to phone calls, and then they're going to go to internet access via satellite. So sometime I'm not exactly sure when all this is going to happen, but they're going to have satellite stuff. So that'll be really nice to have that in pretty much anywhere in the US at this point. One of our staff members has already signed up for Starlink and is awaiting to get their box. So I'm really excited to see how that works for them. And I'm going to look at it for us too, because I mean, our service for what we get is pathetic, and they charge you an enormous amount that in other places you would, for that amount of money, we would be getting a gigabit service, and we're getting 20 megs up and down, which is horrifically slow. I mean, it's better than a 56K modem, but not much. And they're very difficult to work with as well. So at some point in the not too distant future, probably next year, we'll be looking at doing something along those lines and try and unify our internet access, because our shop has a different provider, and they're terrible too. So I'm going to try and see if we can unify that and just have one account and make that work better, especially if I get that satellite, because we're talking about 150 megabit per second down, and up will be a little slower, but down is mostly what we need. But we'll probably have close to 75 to 80 up, which would be just fabulous. And so anyway, something to look forward to. And we'll be looking at that, like I said, probably next year.
There's a house on a trail up in Vallecito that has a Starlink
Antenna.
receiver of some, and if they can get it up there with all the trees around this house, they love it.
Yep.
You know what? And it's, when they talked about it automatically knows which, it does all the work. It knows which satellite to go to. It's always reading which one. I'm like, if they can get it there, we can get it here. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, the game plan, I was talking to one of our guys that do our SCADA stuff, Charles, today, and he called and I told him that I was wanting to do that. And he goes, yep. He goes, we put it in the shop, we can get the satellite there, and then we can shoot an antenna back to our office. We can be on the same thing. We can share. That's plenty of bandwidth for us. And I'm like, not a problem. So that's kind of, we already have kind of a basic game plan in place, what we're going to do. But because the shop has not, there's hardly any trees around there and nothing to block it. So it'll be a very, very clear, straight shot.
yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I agree.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
Okay.
New business. Letter A, service agreement 8001, driveway access to Pine Valley Road.
Yes, thank you. This is a request by Dwayne Todd and his son Todd, or Kelton, excuse me. And they're the owners of the lodge up there. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on it? The Pine. Yeah, it used to be Horseman's. Now it's called the Pine. They changed the name of it, whatever. He's looking to subdivide his property, and with some of the discussions with the county, we're going to help the county out, I think, by, if we approve this, by allowing him to have an access. They will take that single family home is what he's trying to do to subdivide that property and keep that one, and that would have the access onto our road. And if you approve that, then that will help, obviously, him in his subdivision with the county, and it'll get the county out of a little bit of hot water, because apparently they've made some boo-boos somewhere along the line. And so if we can help them out a little bit, maybe they can help us out a little bit down the road. Again, he's an out-of-district person, so he would pay out-of-district fees. Currently, would be $27, but as those fees move, so would his. And he's aware of that. I've spoken with him a couple of times. I've forwarded him this particular agreement. He's seen it and has no problems with it. So if the board has no problem with it, I would recommend approval.
Any discussion from board members on what you see there? I'll just say I think number 3 is optimistic, because I see so many folks I know don't live in Forest Lakes fishing at our lake daily. So, but whatever. So, any other discussion from other board members?
I've read it. I asked, the only question I had, if we raise rates, how are we protected? And sure enough, if I had just read under out-of-district road fees, all fees, rates, changes are subject to change as approved by the board of directors. So that was my only question, and it's already in there.
Nice.
I'll make a motion that we approve service agreement number 8001.
Have a motion, have a second. Second from Corey. So motion from Carissa, second from Corey. Robin,
I agree.
you agree? Yeah, I don't see a problem with
Yeah,
this.
as long as it's just road stuff, then like you said, they're not partaking in the lakes or any of that stuff. We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
That's the operative word, supposed to, yes.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at this and I'm fine with it. So that's 4-0 to approve the service agreement 8001.
Okay.
Oh, lost my place here. There we go. So next up, professional services contract for accounting services. What you got there, Bruce?
What we have is, this is going to fill a couple of voids for us. In the past several audits, they've noted that we don't have, the staff to have what would be considered appropriate separation of duties in the financial side. This person will be able to fill that void, take over part of the stuff, because to have a sound financial system, you don't have the same person entering the checks as well as then balancing the checkbook. That just is a problem. Unfortunately, we have that. Jimmy does a great job. It's not an issue of that. It's it's the appearance and it's sound accounting practices, and it's been noted in the last 2 audits. So we're getting rid of that. We also had been advertising for an accounting person. They tried 2 different titles, pretty much got no response, to be perfectly honest. So this person actually contacted me, saw the ad and said, hey, would you be interested in maybe doing it on a contract basis and part-time? So I thought about it and said, yeah, I think that could probably make sense because we don't necessarily have full-time work for that. And so when I did the math on it, based on what we were offering salary-wise as well as benefits, we're probably going to end up saving like $50,000-$60,000 versus having a full-time person. She's done and does work for a couple of really small districts, like with 50-60 houses. So she currently does this as already. She does the books for them. I contacted her references, which were a board member, one of the district attorneys, and a CPA that does the audit for district, and really got phenomenal reviews. So I've spoken with her a couple times. I actually met her today at the conference and spoke with her again. And I feel like she will be a really nice fit, even though she will be working remotely. But again, it's numbers that we're dealing with. It's not that interaction with people. Not that she won't at some point in time. She'll probably come down periodically, but I think it might be a real good fit. I really think it's worth a try, and I think it'll help us out a lot. So I recommend you approve the contract. Where is that here? With Accounting Associates LLC.
It says accounting services.
Correct.
Okay. I move that we contract with Accounting Services LLC.
The motion from Carissa. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Corey?
Second, yep.
Oh, Corey's got a second. Robin, how you feeling?
It's good. I
Good.
agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think any additional internal controls that are approved of by auditors are a great idea. And Jamie is capable and honest as they come, but heaven forbid something happens, the spotlight probably turns to her, so it's kind of protection for her too. So I think that's a good thing. So no, I approve. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
So last one there, similar to B, but letter C, professional services contract for grant writing services. I think this one's pretty big too.
Yeah, and thank you. This is a similar contract. And by the way, both these contracts were drafted up by our attorney, so it wasn't something that I did. So both of these ladies have seen the contracts in full and have agreed to the terms of them as well. So just so you know that up front. This is for grant writing. This is an individual who has been a county manager and is currently the interim city manager for another city at the moment, but has been doing grants off and on with her company, which is called Sustainable Futures LLC. Had many, well, I won't say many, I'd say probably had 4 or 5 conversations with her. She was recommended by another county manager I was talking to. And so really sharp. We talked about some of the projects, especially all the CIP projects that we have. Every single one that we talked about, she goes, oh, well, that would be this, that would be that. She knew who to go to, and had done grants with most of these agencies already. So there's not going to be like a learning curve in terms of that. So that'll save us just a lot of dollars with somebody who maybe isn't familiar with. She seems to be familiar with virtually all of them. And so we've already had some, like I said, a fair number of discussions about all the different projects, and we'd love to get her on board. There was money in the budget for this year already. We haven't spent any for a grant writer. We also had money for a project manager, but we pretty much have done no projects because we can't get materials and contractors to do things. So most of our CIP projects are getting rolled over to next year. We'll that money that was allocated this year will just roll over to next year. We'll keep it budgeted in there. And so we have a fair amount of money this year, and I will budget probably the equal amount next year for the same thing so that we can continue next year. And as I'm at this conference right now, and pretty much all the things I'm going to are about getting grant funds and different sources and things like that. And every single one I'm going, it's a great time to do it. If you haven't done it, do it now. I'm like, okay. So it's going to be full speed ahead, assuming you approve this. Once we get her on board, and we're going to be chasing everything that's on our CIP list and others that aren't even on there. There's a lot of things like the recreation one you were talking about. Became aware of that. Actually, Chief Evans told me about that on Monday. So I'm like, okay, I took note of that. And there's a lot of different things and different small ones and stuff like that. But we're going to apply for everything we can get our hands on. So hopefully approve. I highly recommend it. I think she'll be fantastic.
I'll make a motion that we approve of having a grant writer part-time.
With Sustainable Futures LLC.
Second,
So motion, Carissa with the second. Corey, you good?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good too. It sounds like the timing is right there. And I know it takes a while for federal dollars to get into circulation with that infrastructure bill and COGO, everything. I think it's time we start putting some applications out there because that could really help out their budget too. So I approve absolutely.
100%. And it just so that even though I've been kind of talking about grants, stuff like that, even if we were to get any grants, which I assume we will get some, we're not going to know probably for at least a year ballpark. And then to be able to do something pushes it out at least another half a year to 2 years. So just, it's not going to be something that's going to happen instantaneously. I'm going to say before we start actually doing anything with any of these, it's probably going to be closer to a year and a half to 2 years down the road. But you got to start somewhere, and that's with writing the grant. And hopefully we get some.
Nice.
I think we will.
And this is after the fact, I get it, Bruce, but item 5, compensation. There are a lot of grant writers sometimes take a small cut of what they get, but it sounds like we're just paying her on a contractual dollars per hour kind of situation.
Correct. And also, just so you know, not all, but a number of these grants allow that the grant writers' fees to be rolled into the grant.
Oh,
And
nice.
so any of those that are eligible, we will definitely do that as well. So we have a good possibility of recovering some of that, of the money we pay her in the grant.
Excellent. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Well done.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Number 9, resolutions, says none. So we're going to keep on trucking.
Good.
Number 10, approval of disbursements. Do we have someone from the finance? You want to rattle off that
you know
exact
what,
number?
I have a question. Bruce, do you have your computer and with the account numbers for the district?
No. I mean, in terms of,
No? Well,
what's the question?
there was a discrepancy and I found it, and I want to know what the 6191 ending in 6191 of the accounts are, and I think we might answer our questions so we can, before we get to the disbursements. Do you see that, Jamie? The 1-10-900-6191?
Are you talking about the disbursement report that I originally sent out?
Right.
I would have,
Okay, go ahead.
are you talking about the debt?
The 5685.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to look into that when I get in
Okay.
the office
All right.
tomorrow.
I found it in the details off
What
the
is it, Carissa? I've got some 900 what?
900-6191.
No, mine only goes up to 210. The
That's
report that I have.
information.
There's a credit there for
That's only
56.
information that I have.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I-
it's
Just
gonna have to
just
put
to
it-
help your search. So it is on there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay,
I just need to look into it tomorrow, and the account
Okay.
numbers have changed with the conversion.
okay,
Sounds fun.
all right.
Yeah.
So we have a new chart of accounts. Is that right,
Wow.
Jamie?
I'm sorry, what?
We have a new chart of accounts?
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be another interesting
Yeah.
budgeting to do. We'll have to make some translations.
Exactly.
Okay.
Did everyone get the new one that Jamie sent out right before the meeting?
Got it, yeah.
Yeah, the one that Jamie sent out today, yes. We didn't
Yeah.
have one before.
I had one from
Right,
yesterday.
didn't- Is that yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday we got that one from Jamie earlier today.
And I sent one out before I left this evening, like at 5:30.
Okay, I didn't print that one out yet.
I guess my question is, which one of these are we looking to approve? The latest one you sent out, Jamie, or the
Yes,
one with
that's
the
correct.
discrepancy? Okay,
Okay, but I still, okay. So on the original one, it was for $2,541.27. And I'm trying to find that number in the new one to see who is it to. Does that make sense? Or would it be? You know, and I can't find that number. I can't find the 2484 or the 2541. If it's in the original, then it should be in this more detailed one. And I don't see that.
The
number.
detailed one is, it took all the invoices that I put in and did splits. So
Oh,
it's
wait,
split
there's
up.
numbers. Okay, 20, 10, hold on, 10, 30, here, okay, 900, it might be in that, 900, 6191. 6191, Google Apps, $12,
And it's not that.
6191, okay. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, Corey.
so can I answer your question, Chris, why I think you're not finding what you're trying to find? Is the first report she sent out, it's all lump sum to one number, so you're not gonna see it in this new one she sent out. It's all broken down between each different fund. If
I
that
know,
makes
Because
sense.
I split everything up, and so it's all split up on this last one.
Right, but why should we have that GL account of 900-6191 and then it's on our vendor 900-6191?
Right.
And the total there is $12, so that. is
Yeah,
even
that's
more
for the
confusing.
Google apps.
Yeah. But that's what came up with that credit
Mm-hmm.
for that same account, and I don't see it. And it's
So
only
we
there.
can hold off until I narrow down that $56. But for now, the last one I sent out, I don't see a problem in approving that because I did actually make all these payments. But if you would like to wait until I have time to follow up on the discrepancy on the first report, we can certainly do that as well.
Wait, hold on. I'm just
The
looking. at
last report is accurate, is what I'm hearing you say? Is that
That's
it?
correct.
Showing everything as is? So we could
Mhm.
disregard the first report
Correct.
and just move forward with the last one, we would be all right? That's what I hear?
Yes. Yes.
what my question is, what do the checks equal? The 68,000 or the 71,000?
The 68,000.
Are we,
It's a $3,200 difference.
Between the two.
$3,240.99. I don't understand how the two reports can be that different.
Right. You know what I'm thinking now that I'm sitting here? So part of the Cassell program, which is really cool, is I can take the bank, the credit cards transactions, and I can upload those into a spreadsheet, and then I can pull them into Cassell. And that, I made a $3,000 payment on the credit card. So I'm thinking on the one report, the credit card transactions pulled over, and on the other one, they did not.
Okay.
Because that would make sense. Because if you look on the first report, that third item down, Community Banks of Colorado, that I made a credit card payment there, $3,163.29. But we just don't have everything dialed in yet with all the data that we've given them and uploaded.
so
That's the best I can do for tonight.
how much more time do you need, Jamie, to get a 100% accurate report?
Well, it depends on whether I can get a hold of somebody at Cassell. I have not had all my training that I need at this point. So I need someone from Cassell to step in at this point and help me continue.
Okay. Well, I think that's fair. I mean, I think, you know, we can't kind of approve this. Either we do or we don't. You know?
Right, but I
Yeah.
wanted to give you something so that you all have an idea of where we're at.
I mean, Bruce, it's not unprecedented to just hold this over to the next meeting, or do we have a special meeting, or do we need to have a special meeting to,
No.
once Jimmy figures this out, or can we carry this over next month?
No, we'll just have it there. We'll just have the approval of the disbursements for this month and for the next month. We'll just have two of them on there, that's all.
I think that's fine. I mean, it sounds like this transition is pretty interesting. So,
Well,
I
you're
get
being
it.
very-
Yeah.
Believe me, Jamie's talked me out of several times. I just wanted to call the CEOs of a couple of these companies that we're interacting with, and I just want to scream at them, and and send nasty emails. He goes, no, because we still need to get this done. And she's probably right, but I'm just so unbelievably frustrated with their lack of responsiveness to us, given the fact that this has been in place for almost 2 years now, and all of a sudden all these things are cropping up, and that's what these people do for a living. They transition people, they do the software and all this migration of
We're paying them a monthly fee.
yeah,
Let's
we're
just
gonna
Can they-
request a refund, trust me, because they've been working overtime on this stuff, and it's unreasonable. I'm just beyond upset about this, and I'm trying to keep my cool, but I'm really getting to the end of my rope here.
No, understood.
Uh,
I think it's okay if we table this for next meeting. So,
Robin and Carissa, you have any issues with that?
We can't approve something that we're not certain on.
Yeah.
Yes,
So then I would like to make a motion to postpone the approval of August disbursements till our next scheduled meeting.
I'll second.
a second. All right. So motion from Corey, a second from Chris to table this till next meeting, and we'll get it figured out. So,
I
Robin,
apologize. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's
all right.
not your fault.
No,
It's extremely frustrating.
I bet.
Do we need to come in and sign some checks or anything, though?
No, yes, but I'm not ready for that yet. I really
Okay.
need to get things dialed out. So,
Okay.
Okay,
but thank you. I'll send an email when I get to that point.
we'll get there.
Okay.
Hang in there, Jamie. We'll get there. Robin, you good with tabling this till next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, me too. So consider it tabled. The last item, number 11, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Move that we adjourn.
Yeah.
16.
Actually, can I make one quick
Oh,
comment?
good.
Oh, you gotta jump in quicker.
Sorry. It's just an informational thing. Well, our next meeting is the 11th. We need to have the draft budget due by the 15th. So there may be some special meetings that may need to occur between now and the 15th. Just kind of FYI, even if it may be only on the 15th, or if we can do it on the 11th, if we're ready to go, great. But there are some statutory deadlines for that. And I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that.
Even though the
Happy.
15th says Saturday, do we get till Monday?
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that, whether when the 15th falls on a weekend. I don't know what the law says on that, but I guess I can ask the auditor, but
My gut tells me it does, because you can't make it the 14th, so it has to go to the next Monday, next business day. But yeah, I might want to check on that.
yeah.
I'm just a simple educator, so
But it does sound like maybe we need another meeting before.
Perhaps I'll have to have the budget folks in probably a couple of times before we, to recommend to the board and stuff like that. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure we're aware of that statutory. October 15th it has to go to the board for the initial one. It doesn't have to be approved for the year, but just the initial one to consider. And then there's meetings that have to follow that afterwards. That are required as well, and that's fine. But we just got to make sure we beat the first one first. That's
Okay,
all.
just try to
gotta
stay
get-
on top of that if you can. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah, don't want to
get-
miss that. That's a big problem.
got to give the public a chance to express their input too. So
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, well, we have a motion on the floor, the second on the floor for adjournment. I think it was Corey seconded, but then I think Chris made the motion. So
Oh,
Um,
8:18, 8:18, motion to
8:18.
adjourn.
I'm fine adjourning. Robin, you good with adjourning?
I'm good with adjourning. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
All right,
Michelle,
thank
did
you.
See you soon.
Have a good week, Bruce.
All right, thank you. I'll see
And
you.
enjoy the training.
Yes.
Hang in there, Jamie.
Yeah, you got this, Jamie.
Thank
Good job.
you.
Anybody got a lock splitter?
It's a whole nother deal, huh?
It's coming. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
A log splitter.